Hey there, I'm Ashlyn Ray, your spiritual guide and mindset lifestylist. And I want to talk about resistance today. I want to talk about resistance and I want to talk about how we say we've surrendered so that we can live a life of inner peace, and then what that actually looks like versus what we think it is, right? So, okay. So I find that I ask myself often, am I surrendering? Have I surrendered? And it wasn't until recently that I really understood that if I'm asking, have I surrendered, then I have not surrendered. If I have to ask, I have not surrendered. And so as a result, you have to ask yourself, okay, I said I wanted these things. I put in the universe that I wanted to have these things. I wanted to live this way. I wanted to be with this person. I want to acquire this job. And by doing so, you've already put that out there into the world. You already put that in the universe. God heard you. Universe has got your back. And then you muscle it the whole way through. And it's funny because if you think about it, stuff that you don't really care about seems to come to you much, much easier. Am I right? And the more that you care about something realistically, the more you need to let it go. But our ego just will not allow us to let it go. We have been conditioned to operate out of this masculine energy, meaning that we need to go out and get the job, we need to go secure the bag, we need to find love, we need to take care of ourselves in an aggressive way so that we're like top shape. And that's great because some of that stuff is needed, but what I have found is that it creates resistance. And without the feminine side of that, the passive creative side of that, you just get a lot of aggression and resistance and strife, right? And so when you think about your spiritual practice and purifying yourself to your true self, the self that God put on earth, the self that you got here on this rock with before you were hurt or insulted or disappointed, scared, etc. To get back to that, you have to go through a spiritual process. And the spiritual process is a feminine act. It's feminine energy because you are receiving. This is not for you to go out and aggressively forgive and aggressively love. Because how do you even aggressively forgive and aggressively love? Like, you can radically do that, meaning that without condition. But how do you aggressively do that? And so if you ever have to question if you are surrendering, then you're not. And so one of the most profound things that I have probably uncovered throughout all of these years of studying and reading and learning and sharing and had to be that love doesn't do anything. Your feminine energy is passive and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't have to prove something. It doesn't have to take action in a manner that produces. Your feminine energy, your divine feminine energy, your spiritual practice, your love, you receive it. Even when you forgive, you are receiving. Because as a result of forgiving someone who you deem has done something to you, forgiving yourself even, you are receiving love as a result. Have you ever noticed that when you have attacked someone, even when you felt rightful to do so, you may have beat yourself up for jumping out of character, right? So it's funny because we'll lay back for love, right? We finally decided I'm not going to keep looking for a relationship, but I am determined to get this position, right? And you feel like, okay, once I get the position, or once I lose the weight, or once I get a dog, once I acquire the car, the house, then everything is going to be sweet and I'm going to be happy, and then I can be happy and I can be in the vortex and I can attract all the desires and things that I need. Okay, but how many times have we gotten something that we really wanted only for it to make us happy very superficially in the moment, and then we were looking for the next thing to make us happy? And that's because we're looking for an external source to make us happy, when that can't be. We have to cultivate internal dependence in order to be happy. We have to find it within ourselves in order for us to be happy. And that's not going to come from a material thing or another person. That can only come from within. And when you can cultivate that type of peace and that type of satisfaction, now you can attract every single thing you wanted, and even things that you forgot about that you may not necessarily even want anymore, because the joy of the inner peace and the solace and the self-satisfaction is greater than the material item or person. And when you really think about it, you only wanted these things because it was going to create some experience. You wanted to experience some feeling. You wanted to experience love. You wanted to experience happiness or gratitude. And these are things that you can experience without looking externally. And so if you can understand that you only want the job because you want the status, because you want to feel accomplished, because you want to feel worthy, because you want to feel accepted, because you want to feel loved, if you can understand that and you can just start at love in the inside and give your own self-worth from the inside, you no longer need the accessories of life in order to feel that way. At that point, you get it. It's just the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top. One of my favorite sayings that I hear people say is, I found love when I wasn't looking for it. And despite, there may be many reasons why a person wasn't looking for love, but often when somebody says that, what they mean is they were so enamored with themselves that they were not looking outside of themselves to complete that love. And as a result, they were radiating love. And it attracted exactly what they were putting out. When we talk about the law of attraction, when we talk about raising our frequency, when we talk about aligning ourselves in such a way that we mirror what we want, that is exactly what that means. But unfortunately, we obsess over what we don't want to happen. And we bring in that. So I want to actually touch on something that I read. And this is from Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Everything we don't care that much about, fine, God can have it. We can put it in his hands. But if it's really, really important, then we think we better handle it ourselves. But the truth is that the more important it is to us, we need to surrender, because since when did we get more resourceful and more creative and more attracting and more magnetic than God, the creator in the universe? And we have free will, right? So the universe is not going to interfere when we don't want it to. If we're saying, hey, we got this and we don't need your help, it's not going to interfere because we have free will. So now that you want to muscle through that army you had behind you, that universal army, that universal frequency that was like literally a magnet attracting everything to you, is now by the wayside. It didn't leave you, it's just over there, and it'll be there when you're ready to come back. But for now, you got to go it alone. And you know, you say, some people say they're faithless, like they believe in faithless. There's no such thing as faithless. You either have faith in something bigger than yourself, or you have faith in yourself, right? But I don't know about you guys, or you have faith in nothing, right? You have faith in nothingness. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather take the weight, the pressure, the incredible expectations off myself. Because if you really think about it, those expectations and that stress and that weight is what got us here in the first place. Trying to do every single thing ourselves with our own will and our own recognizance is what got us here in the first place. And how far did that really get us? Because once you got the job and it stressed you out, you had a lot of money, but did you hate your life? Once you lost the weight, you looked really cute, but did you hate yourself on the inside for still thinking like a no confidence or esteem having fat girl? Once you got the spouse, did you then find yourself unhappy at home because the spouse that you got wasn't somebody who was willing to listen and love and grow with you? We're looking for an experience. We're looking for a feeling. We're not looking for a particular thing or person. And so that is why it is so important for us to put our desires out there and then to relax. To be open to creativity, to opportunity, to say, hey, God, this is what I want. What would you have me do? And then shut up. Be quiet. Chill the entire fuck out. Because you gotta be able to hear when the universe taps you on your shoulder and gives you an opportunity. Gotta be there. And as long as we allow our ego to separate us from what is true about ourselves and causes us to not honor and acknowledge what we truly need, which is love and belonging, to feel worthy, to feel competent, right? Accepted. As long as we let our ego get in the way of that and instead portray it as a judgment of someone else or a comparison of someone else or something else, as a flaw of another person, as a flaw of yourself, you won't get there. So we've got to be willing to lay our ego aside and understand that anytime we're acting out of line, out of character, that it is essentially working out of fear. And that is our ego working to keep us where we are. And I need you to hear the cry of the inner child, the cry of the hurt and wounded, and recognize that cry for love and give yourself that love so that you can go back to that rest and relaxation and resistance, lack of resistance, so that you can receive what has been put in store for you. When you ask for it, it's already done. It's up to you to receive it. If you repel it and fight it, kicking and screaming the whole way, you might not ever get it. But on the way, you'll find that your journey to the end will often be more exciting than the destination. The journey to self-discover, the journey to explore the world, the journey to learn new things and new concepts and connect with people on a different level is an exciting and extraordinary journey. I said the other day that I am both elated and deeply saddened that I will die before I know everything of this world. And what I mean by that is, I want to know everything. I'm a curious person. I want to know everything and go everywhere and experience all the things. But I'm elated that for as long as I walk this earth, I'll never run out of things to do, things to learn, and things to marvel at. And that's pretty fucking sweet. I just want to close this with everything that you do that is not aligned, that does not feel good, is because you haven't fully surrendered. You haven't surrendered to the willingness to try something else. You haven't surrendered to love, and you haven't surrendered to forgiveness. And sometimes choosing love over anything else is hard, but the reward is worth it. So I encourage you to look through love first. It'll be easier to forgive. It'll be easier to see. It'll be easier to continue on, to forge on that path. Because the journey to transcendence is amazing. I wish you all the love and light. Until I see you next time, have a great, wonderful day, morning, evening, or night, wherever you are in this world.